This video will just have a series of examples of order of operations with signed numbers from section 2.4, just to give you some practice. So if you see a particular problem that you don't think you're going to have trouble with, you might skip ahead a little in the video so that you don't get bored watching all the different examples. So this first one, this is an example of having parentheses in the problem, but they aren't really order of operations parentheses because the parentheses in order of operations means an operation going on inside of parentheses. This is just a number inside of parentheses here, so it's not an operation. So we just really have subtraction going on here. I am going to start here with the way if you watch my videos on 2.1, 2.2, I like to take care of these things that I call double signs. So these two signs are the same, so they become positive, and then we wind up with this. Now all we have is addition and subtraction left to right. So I do negative 12 minus 5 is negative 17. Bring down the plus 3. Then I'm just going to do my negative 17 plus 3, negative 14. So that's our answer for this one. Next one looks similar, got a little bit more complicated. So first of all, still no operations inside of parentheses. All those parentheses just contain numbers, not operations. But we do have addition and multiplication, and we have some signs to take care of. So I'm going to take care of this. We have a double sign, and so we can think of this as the opposite of negative 12, which is 12, or you can think of it as a double sign minus a negative is equal to a positive. Okay, so then we have a multiplication, so I'm going to put my addition sign down, and then the multiplication is negative 5 times negative 3, so that's 15. So now 12 plus 15 is 27. This one, again, the parentheses don't have any operations going on there. That parentheses is designed to remind us that the 12 has a negative sign in front of it. We have a series of multiplication and division here, and so when we do multiplication and division, we do it left to right. So we're going to copy down the 5 plus part. So negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. I'm writing it inside of parentheses because it's sitting next to that plus sign here, and I don't want to get confused about that. So I'm going to write it inside of parentheses. And then we still have divided by 6 there. So now, hope some of you caught that mistake. So I was doing division when I should have been doing multiplication. So negative 12 times 3 is actually negative 36 divided by 6. So now we're going to do this. Negative 36 divided by 6 is negative 6. So I'm going to write 5 plus, just copying that part down. And then the answer, negative 36 divided by 6 is negative 6. Now I just have a double sign problem here, so that becomes 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. So I'll take this opportunity to remind you, you just saw me do it. These order of operation problems, you have to really try to slow yourself down, really try to figure out what goes first, what am I actually doing, pay careful attention, and go over them again. Honestly, what caught me there is I saw 4 divided by 6, and then I knew I was going to have to add it to 5, and I thought, well, we do like fractions in this class, but it seems unlikely to me that we're going to have 5 plus 5, 6. So I mentally went back up and checked myself to see if I did the calculation wrong, and that's when I saw that I had divided when I should have multiplied. So lots of ways to pick up on errors that you might make, but the point is, don't let yourself get frustrated by making mistakes in these. Just go slow, check yourself. It's very easy for any of us to make mistakes with all these little operations going on. Okay, here's a slightly different version. So now we have subtraction, multiplication, and division. So I'm going to copy down my -5 minus, and then I'm going to do -12 divided by 3. So that one really is -4. And then that I still have that times a -6 that I bring down. So now I have multiplication and subtraction. So I'm going to do multiplication first. So I'm going to copy down my -5 minus, and then that's a positive 24. And so the whole thing becomes -29. So the thing that people get really tempted by on this is just to start going left to right. So you get really tempted to do this first, and you have to resist that urge. So follow the order of operations. Don't do everything left to right. You do, when you're down to multiplication and division, you do those left to right. You're down to addition and subtraction, you do those left to right. But if you have subtraction and multiplication and division, you have to take care of all multiplication and division first. Okay, let's try this one out. So now I finally have some operations going on inside of parentheses. So I'm going to do what I've told you guys not to do, which is do two things simultaneously, but that's because they're both inside of parentheses and they're not interacting with each other. And so I can save a little time here. So -2 times, so -6 plus 8 is +2. And I just leave that minus sign there and do what's inside this. So 3 minus 5 gives me -2. So now I'm going to do -2 times +2 gives me -4. And then I'm going to take care of this double sign here. Minus a -2 is +2. And so -4 plus 2 gives me -2. Here we're introducing some exponents. Again, the parentheses don't have operations inside of them, but I'm showing you this one because this is one where people have a tendency to skip the order of operations. So remember, order of operations is parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. And when people do this one, they tend to want to do this 3 times -5 first. But that's not the right thing to do because we have an exponent, and the exponent comes first. So this set of parentheses does not count as a grouping symbol because there's no operation going on. It's just serving to set off the -5. So it's not an order of operations set of parentheses. So that means the first thing I'm going to do in these is do the exponent. So the exponents are here and here, and remember this one is one of the ones that you have to be careful about because it really means the opposite of 6 squared. 6 squared is 36. Then this one really means -5 times itself. Well, -5 times itself is +25. So now I've got to do my 3 times 25. So I've got -36 plus 75. See if I can do that in my head. If it was 76, it would be 40, so it must be 39. Positive 39. And the last one I want to do for you is remember that when you have a fraction bar, that acts as a grouping symbol in addition to being a division symbol. And so it means work the top, work the bottom, and then when you're finished working both the top and the bottom, then you finally do the division. Unless it's just winds up the fraction, and then you just leave it as a fraction bar. So let's work the top first. First thing I want to do is take care of that double sign. So there are different signs, that's going to become negative. So it's minus 4, minus 6, minus 2, divided by 5, minus 17. Now on the top, I'm just going to go straight across, because it's all just subtraction. So negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10, minus 2 is negative 12. 5 minus 17 on the bottom is negative 12, so the whole thing is equal to 1.